I hear the fire of the LGBTQ plus community. That's right, because COVID is not keeping us down. Even during a pandemic, the gay community is out to make sure, well, not actually out, no, stay inside. As much as there's so much hardship happening right now, Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire is giving back to the LGBTQ plus community. Our community is especially hit by COVID-19. You know, there's less access to healthcare. A lot of my friends who work in nightlife, including drag queens, my own drag mama, have been affected and are working from home. And you know, it's just something that we have to know, that so much of our history as LGBTQ plus people comes from the service industry. So many of my best experiences were going out and learning about my brothers and my sisters at the bars and having a nice drink. And you know, that's where I really made some of the most important friendships that I've ever had that have affected my identity and shaped who I am as a queer person. Now, if you didn't know, mukbangs are a tradition of being able to share a meal with someone else, which has become sort of an internet sensation of watching someone eat a copious amount of food in a sitting. I have selected as my special pride meal everything that I could find at the grocery that is red. As is a tradition in Pride, my friend Miles, who's being very safe, social distancing, 6 feet away from me with a mask, he is heterosexual, therefore he is serving me during June. This is what happens. It is a tradition. He is getting everything I need, and you should find your nearest straight person to do your bidding as well. You get the entire month. If you need a pedicure, if you need someone to hold the door open for you, if you need them to massage your head, you as a queer person are entitled to the straights service.
Go off, Eugene.
Thank you, Miles. Now, y'all have been watching me create videos for, what is it now, Miles, like 20,000 years?
Yeah, 20,000 years.
Because I'm an immortal anime villain?
Yeah,
because
you're an immortal gay hero.
I'm an immortal gay hero that's lived for many years, and now I own a discotheque where I trap the souls of young people to stay young forever. That's what I look like. The producers that be who said you can mukbang anything you want. I know some drag friends of mine have chosen delicious items like sushi because they are very smart, very smart. And we said, maybe, you know, Eugene, you're a comedian. You should do something funny in honor of fire. Like maybe something red? And I said, what if it's all red? What if everything I eat was red? You know they actually have diets like that, Miles? But I walked into the grocery store, of course, 6 feet apart, with my mask on, with gloves on, like my Asian grandma taught me. And I grabbed everything that I could find that's red. Now, what I've discovered is that red seems to fall into a few distinct categories, which is we've got some very spicy peppers here. And that's the first thing you think of when you think fire, right? Spicy. We've got a lot of raw red vegetables that probably require cooking, like beets. I don't think anyone just chews on a raw-ass beet, but we're gonna cross some boundaries today. And of course, red desserts and fruit. The fruit are delicious. I'm looking forward to this red velvet cake. Some red snackums. And I also bought some raw beef. You know, in quarantine, I've been trying to lift a little more. I've always dreamed of getting more muscular, but I've always relied on my svelte frame and love, like sincere love of alcohol. Everyone was said, Eugene, you should get a six-pack in quarantine because you have the body type for it. Also, they want to take away my rice. You can never take away my rice.
Don't take away my gay rice.
Don't take away my gay rice. Miles, look at you. Don't take away my gay rice. I'm gonna print that on a shirt. Here's the thing. We know a lot of people watching, you know, you should always drink responsibly. And if you're watching and if you've never been able to attend a Pride in real life, or if you are in a smaller community that you don't have access to it, just consider me your digital grand marshal of sorts. And we're gonna treat this mukbang like its own perverse, bizarre pride parade. And so I welcome and invite you now to my table, to my mukbang. And we are going to start of course, with a ceremonial cap pop of my new favorite drink, Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire. I'm gonna try it for the first time. So I'm gonna sip this straight because y'all know me. I don't need mixers. I don't really believe in mixers. I feel like mixers are just sort of like in the way, you know? It's like when you go to dinner, for me, it's like I don't need the appetizers or the dessert. Just give me the good stuff. Give me the thick meat. So I'm gonna get meaty. All right, I'm gonna try this actually. Oh, it smells delicious. Oh, this is delicious. This is the perfect accompaniment to my mukbang. I think we should get into it. What's very well known about queer people is that we are generally more intelligent, better looking, talented. So I'm gonna start with the vegetables because that's how we got here. You know what I mean? Let's start with this. This is red cabbage. Do you guys ever think about the first person who decided something was edible and how many people had to die trying? They'd be like, hey, Carl, you think I'll die if I eat this berry? And then, so caveman Carl said that, and then caveman Jim said, I don't know, Carl, you should try it. And then Carl dies, and they're like, you know what, we probably shouldn't eat that berry. And then Jim tries another berry, and it's a blueberry, and he's like, whoa, we can eat this berry. I think about that a lot. Red cabbage. Did you hear that? That sounded like a sound effect for bone crunching. Miles, do you know what my first kiss story is?
No.
Well, my first kiss, and it was with a girl. She's very pretty, so I was like, oh no, they're gonna know. She won rehearsal when they said, Eugene, you need to kiss her. She just grabbed my face and just gave me this big kiss, right? And it was like nothing crazy. But that's when I really knew I liked guys. But then I went to college and I met some of my first gay friends, and you know, I didn't start dating until I was like 25. Isn't that crazy? But that's not because I'm gay. That's because I have, what's the word? Emotional stability issues. And what's the other word? Clinical depression. See, I'm undiagnosed. I've never been diagnosed, which is kind of sad because my dad worked at a psychiatric hospital. Like, irony? Wow, see, this is what I call real mukbang conversation. You know what, we should move on to the red bell pepper. Fun fact, one of my best friends, who's a fellow Tri guy, his name's Zach, he is deathly allergic to these. But it is crazy to me that this could like take him down like caveman Carl with those berries, right? It would just be like, boom. Did you know red bell peppers are just ripe green bell peppers? Right? Well, let's see how big I can get. Mukbang! Mukbang! You know what? Let's talk about my first gay friends, because that's something you dream of as a little queer kid, right? Who are my first gay friends gonna be? I have a great story, actually. Now, when I went to USC, I happened to make two different friend groups of queer people. One were my film friends, right? My film school compatriots. And the other, these three, who became my best friends, were, how would you say, the gay plastics. So I didn't know that though, because I was just excited to make friends who were queer. And these three, I found out later, were revered as like the mean boys of the college. And I was just excited to be able to hang out with them. Anyway, that happened to me through my freshman through junior year, and I actually became kind of like a mean gay for just like a hot second. But my film nerdy friends were able to pull me back out of it. And I think for me, these are people, especially when you're like 18 to 24 years old, those are some people that will really affect your life in ways that are gonna be so profound, you know, whether it be good or bad, but they're gonna be such important relationships for you. And although I joke that they were sort of like the plastics in the hierarchy of the school, and I had my film friends, I was really friends with everyone. I was just trying to fit in, and that's all we're trying to do in the end, right? I'm gonna eat one now. Has anyone eaten a raw beet before? Happy Pride. That's actually tasty. So much dirt. There's so much dirt. Fun fact, Beets are very red. In fact, they're probably the truest red, the juice. Because look at that. Look at that. So Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire is doing a lot of amazing things this Pride. They are partnering with GLAAD, which is an incredible organization, and they're also supporting multiple local nonprofit groups that are helping the LGBTQ plus community during COVID-19. That includes Philly Pride, Boston Pride, Virginia Pride, and the Provincetown LGBTQ Welcome Center. I'm gonna take a bite of this apple. Is there nothing worse than a mealy apple? This one's good. It's a Fuji. But I was gonna buy Red Delicious because of the namesake. There's nothing worse than a mealy Red Delicious apple. Let's move on to these peppers. Everyone wanted me to do Spice Challenge stuff. There's so many Spice Challenge videos coming out like on the internet. People love to watch people in pain. But this doesn't look like it's too spicy. Let's go for it. Oh, that's not very spicy. It's tasty though. Honestly, it tastes a lot like the red bell pepper. Okay, what's the next one? Oh, yeah, let's move on. Oh, I got a potato. These are red potatoes, uncooked. Okay, there's a lot of things that I could stomach, but raw potatoes. Whoa. Oh. Let me just talk about the potato real quick. So, the potatoes are, I think, one of the best food stuffs in the world because you can make fries, you can make tater tots, you can make. Those are the first two that came to mind. Potatoes are kind of like queer people. When we're just like little baby gays, we have so much untapped potential, and we feel like we're just like raw, hard potatoes inside, you know? Just tasteless, tough, sprouting multiple eyes on our bodies. And then we find ourselves and we get fried up into delicious little nuggets of potato, of starch, fried starch. That's my gay analogy. Thanksgiving, people talk about the turkey. I only talk about the mashed potatoes. Anyway, I digress. Strawberries, delicious. Here's a fun story I like to tell. My mother, she only recently, finally came around and has confirmed in her mind that I am gay. It took her, from me first coming out to her at 18, when I told her I was gay, and she said, he's wrong, that's incorrect, that's not right. And then, in college, in LA, she goes, also he's in a phase, it's LA, it's a big city, he moves to the city, now he's gay. But very recently, she finally came through. You know, I'm in my 30s, so it took a while. So, you know, even if you're struggling right now, if you see even a glimmer of hope with your parents, it can happen. But the funniest thing she did was she has been texting one of my sisters with her discoveries about the community. Because when I used to do videos, when I wasn't fully out to her, I would use the term LGBT all the time because my mom had no idea. It was like gobbledygook to her. She heard LGBT and she thought I was just like saying an English word she had no idea the meaning of. And very recently she texted my little sister and she goes, oh, Christy, you know what I find out today? Do you know L is for lesbian? My sister said, yeah, everyone knows L is for lesbian. And she goes, I think maybe I have met a lesbian. So she's cute now. She's all about it. I'm like, yeah, Mom, tell me about your lesbian experience. She probably didn't have a lesbian experience, you know, conservative Korean woman, but, you know, my mom would have been a great lesbian, actually. Okay, I have finished this side of the table. Also, all of this food will not go to waste. Miles is going to take much of it home, and he's going to cook a nice salad.
Yum!
But we'll bite into this cake. This is a red velvet cake. The thing is, like, when you have red velvet cake, you always need a cream cheese frosting. That's like the number one thing. You know, Red Velvet is actually a famous K-pop band. This hair is like what length is this? This is when like Taylor started cutting it this length. It's like the mom lob. I have like a mom lob right now. And having worn enough wigs at this point, I kind of really enjoy this length. I get why women get this, because it's just like, it's breezy, but it's kind of flirty, but it also looks like I could be driving a minivan. You know what I mean? But like a sexy minivan. It's like I drop off my kids at school, but I don't really care about the kids. Ooh, I'm like a stepmom. I'm like a young stepmom who's also an anime supervillain. That cake is delicious. So, this is a fire variety, a literal branded fire variety of a tortilla chip. Y'all know what this is. I'm just gonna eat it. And some salsa. Is it disgusting watching people eat? I love that Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire asked me to join you today, but I've honestly never understood the appeal of a mukbang, right? Oh, yum. But you're sitting and watching someone eat, and it just makes me so hungry. Anyway, this is a mukbang. This is fun. It's about pride. Let's move on to these. You ever used to do this with a pencil? You guys ever do this as a kid, and you would be like, magic, no longer is it sturdy and solid, it's liquid. Yeah. Oh. No. You know what? I don't think I like these. So I'm going to skip the raw beef for obvious reasons. Just brought it here to represent my very beefy friends. I guess when we're getting to some of these snacks over here, y'all know what this is. I don't even have to say what this is. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know what this is. Some people are crazy about these. I think I like the Flaming Hot variety. I'm weirdly a person, I prefer the regular flavor. Just me. Just me. A lot of people ask me how I got to where I am in my career, and I do have some interesting sort of insight into that. So I, as a child, was very artistic. I did everything from painting and writing, and then I got into theater and dance and choir and music and any type of performance that I could get my hands on. I was really, really invested in developing those talents. And where I grew up in Texas, I didn't have much access to, say, film school, because where I grew up was not really close to anywhere that I could take lessons as a kid. But I did have a really great teacher who suggested that I consider film because I was so involved in things like theater and choir and dance. And so that's how I ended up applying to film school and getting into USC. Interestingly enough, when I first started doing digital content, it was only because I needed a job. Like, I really needed a job. And when I ended up joining what was BuzzFeed Video at the time, when it first started in 2013, from that point, my career as someone who's been primarily known as a digital performer and producer, it allowed me to be able to connect with all of y'all, people who are watching right now, and people who have so very lovingly followed me or were, vocal about having me be more on screen as a person who is both LGBT and Asian. I would never have had that experience if I wasn't working in this medium for so long, because I had always had this dream that I was going to be successful as a filmmaker, but truly from just behind the camera. I wanted to make change in our communities as a queer person, but not by using my face or voice, only by using my work. I still plan on doing that, but there was something very validating about being able to perform and appear in videos like this and have young kids, especially watching at home, say that they recognize themselves or part of themselves in me, and that's what has kept me going. And really, it's one of the only reasons I've ever decided to stay online. That is really what the heart of, I think, being part of the LGBT community is, which is being able to break bread, or in this case, a red velvet cake, with those who you can learn from, but also those who you feel like can be part of your family. Thank you for joining my and Jack Daniel Tennessee Fire's Mukbang. They are doing some incredible work supporting organizations, not just this month, but throughout the year, that are helping and supporting LGBTQ+ causes. So keep being fiery and spicy, just like I am, and just, know that we are all in a very unique time that can be very tough for many people. especially those in the LGBTQ plus community. And we are here for each other. For everyone watching who's celebrating Pride at home, just remember that Pride is a year-long celebration. It's not just 1 month, and there's nothing COVID-19 can do to take away your identity, your validity, and your pride. Does anyone want to watch me eat this again? All right, take us out, Red Cabbage.